or it's going to take up. Hey, everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with Chavez Podcast number 260 with Michele Ivey on TMNT, collectibles, life, fun. Host of that Cowabunga Corner. Everyone say hello to Dashi. How you doing?
Doing good. Enjoying just being around turtle stuff.
It's so great to see. I appreciate you answering the message. And just do you get a lot of messages from fans, and do you have to pick and choose which ones you have to go on and answer?
Well, I'm very hard on answering private messages because I am usually running around. We got a lot going on in our life. We just did a massive move, and my entire family's going through ADA situations. So I am not always on, but I do try to at least read through and see what things are, and looking into the request area where everything's hidden. And that's only on Instagram. I do not do any messages on Facebook. So you
Okay,
contacted in the right area.
awesome. I saw you had so you have, I think, one or two Facebooks. You have a Tumblr, which I want to get into. You have a Twitter, and the only place you answer messages, you said, are Insta, right?
I haven't even been on Tumblr in years. So, yeah, Instagram and Facebook are the two areas I check, but I don't have Facebook Messenger for my own personal reasons.
Yeah.
I don't think they're already a massive app. I don't think they need to have two apps on my phone. So, back when they separated the apps, I stopped using Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, I don't know why, but
But
it's not that it won't let you. You could,
Instagram,
yeah, on Facebook Messenger,
oh,
if you
there was
go,
time periods where I couldn't even type on it.
really,
There
why?
was time periods, years where they were trying to force you completely, where if you opened up Instagram or no, if you opened up Facebook Messenger, you couldn't read your messages. They'd have it half cut off. If you tried typing, every time you hit space, it would erase your first word. Um, yeah, I went through a lot of trouble when it came to using Facebook Messenger, and I said, you know what? I'm tired of it. I'm just done. I am completely done with Facebook Messenger. So I quit years ago. It was early 2010, 2011 time in there that I just said, mm-mm. I'm only on it on my computer. And because I barely use computers, I'm usually more on a phone or tablet. I am just like, no, it's easier to say, this is my area. So even on the top of my Facebook page, I have a big cartoony drawing of Raph that I drew saying no Facebook Messenger.
Nice. Cool. I should probably get that. Like one of those
That's
Luke
it.
Dane signs of no cell phones, but like no Facebook Messenger. There's this app called VeVe, which I want to get into with you because they just got the rights for TMNT stuff. And they launched a messaging app on there, and I had to like go on live, be like, guys, I have so many messages, I can't, like, please don't message me on there. Um, but yeah, so when I brought up your Tumblr because I think it was on your YouTube, it had all your links, and I was wondering on the Tumblr. I know you said you haven't been on there
Yeah.
in years. What is the what was that used for? Was that used for fanfic? Was that used to just scroll? What did you have it for?
Fan art more. I would post turtle pictures, kind of like I do on Instagram, but Instagram ended up being a more active community. My Tumblr would barely get any activity, and I'd be working for hours and post a drawing, and then nothing happens, and I'm like, eh. Tumblr was just quiet, so I went over to Instagram, and Instagram has a very active, a very fun community. So I know a lot of the people that I talk to on Instagram in person. Will meet at events. I know the other people who are big Ninja Turtle podcasters on there, like the TMNT Collector or Second Time Around, and we'll meet up and actually get to have great conversations. I enjoy that when Tumblr was just like crickets and hay barrels and stuff. So there goes the
Hey,
tumbleweed. No, that wasn't my area. That's all it was. It was just too. I didn't know how to get into the right areas there. I guess
yeah,
I know other
it
people who love it.
seems like you found it, and you had a so Tumblr was weird. years ago because it was a lot of fan fiction. There was actually a lot of fan fiction on. It's kind of like Rule 34, but for fan fiction. Like just if it exists, there's a fan fiction of it, and it had originally gone down in like popularity because they like banned porn on it, and then like all the usership went down. Like, oh God, what do we do? Because like I guess the value of the company went down, so they're like, oh, we have to bring it back, and then it and then the usership went back up. That was wild in like the 2010s.
You know,
Um,
I found that out with fanfics in the 90s.
oh, I guess
I
that
found that out with fanfics in the 90s. They could do interesting stuff on those.
what website did people use for fanfics in the 90s? Like fanfic.com?
Well, there's fanfiction.net.
Yeah.
I know I'm not sure if that's still around. I had a few on there. But mine are clean. They're swearing and blood and guts and stuff and killing, but it doesn't have the other stuff. Um, and we also have our own message boards and mailing lists that where people would share their fan fictions and fan art. In fact, my first fan fiction, which I don't even have anymore, was being done through a Ninja Turtle mailing list, and then my computer crashed for 3 months. This was back in 1996. I didn't have a computer for 3 months. Finally got a computer, and nobody saved my original fanfic. So I was like, okay, it's gone, lost in the wind.
Damn.
So
That's rough. I've seen a few of your things. I want to say like all of it. I was wondering because I just got a tattoo myself, not my first one, but it's of my own IP that I am making a comic with. And it's called daCat. I was wondering if you could show us
okay,
your tattoo that you have.
mine's right there.
Heck yeah.
I got the Mikey. This was done by Mark Bodie in 2002. November 2002, a year before my right arm got injured. He keeps saying he wants to touch it up because it's faded over the years, but I have severe nerve damage all the way through my right arm into my spine, so I can't have any touch ups on it. And so
What was that from?
I just, I still love that I have it. I'm thinking about getting another one on this arm of Donatello by Eric Talbot, but I have to wait and see financially how things are rolling.
I understand. What was the nerve
Getting turtle
damage and stuff
tattoos by
from?
Ninja Turtle artists.
Gotcha. How'd you get injured? How'd you injure your arm?
Oh, I worked at a fact job, and I had a large molding machine. We made that's what I'm telling. I worked in a factory job, and I had a big molding machine that would make little wipers and stuff for like John Deere tractors. But the company just made small parts that would go into the tractors, and I made these plastic pieces. And to make them, the injection nozzle goes into the machine and it sends the hot plastic into the mold. And the mold pops open and I grab the pieces out and close. And the only time that nozzle comes off the machine is during a mold change or breaks or closing down for the night. Underneath that nozzle, there was a tiny little wire, about this tiny, like really, really small. And my foreman, when I started the job, gave me a screwdriver about this long and said, you got to move that wire when you're doing a mold change because otherwise it drags underneath the nozzle and hot plastic would drip down onto the wire and could cause a fire. So I figured, yeah, I can move this wire. And if it was a high voltage machine, they wouldn't give me a screwdriver, a high voltage wire. They wouldn't give me a screwdriver to move it. And I did this for a year and a half with no problem, thinking I had the safest machine in the factory. Then one night I put that screwdriver down there. Thankfully, I was standing up because if I sat down, I would have been sitting on a metal stool and I would not be here right now. And I moved that wire and it touched an exposed part of the wire where it was wearing thin from the screwdriver touching it every night. And it held me till the machine shorted out. And I remember trying to scream. I don't know if I screamed or not. They said you probably couldn't because I could not let go of the screwdriver. I could not move. Then when it let go, I dropped to the ground. My martial arts training taught me not to get up after being injured. So I was screaming for help. It's a night shift. Still there? Okay. There's not many people, and I screamed for about 15 minutes for help. My arm was swelling up. I had bruises, and I went and found my foreman, who was inside a separate building. I was in 1990. He was in the building next door, which was 1966. And I found him in there. Over said I was electrocuted by a bad wire, and he went past me without a word, racing to my machine. I tried to follow a lot slower because I was just injured and I'm not doing well. I get over there and he goes, "Is this the wire?" And he grabs it with his hand. And I said, "Yes." And he grabs some paper tape, like the tape you put on boxes that have strings through it. It's brown tape. It really should not be around electrical stuff. And he wraps that around the wire. He goes, "This is the wire that heats your nozzle. It should be good to go now." And he walked away. I was just electrocuted. I had electricity pass through my body. It went out my ankle. I had an injury on my ankle that we found later. So I was in shock and I was a puppet. I'm thinking I'm part of the UAW, which is one of the biggest unions here in Michigan. And that if this was serious, I would have been sent to a doctor. So I tried to work my machine. It wasn't working. I had to go tell him it wasn't working. He gave me another job where you got to push these rubber rings into these plastic rings that barely fit. So it's really hard to do. Normally could do like 800 to 1,000 an hour. I'm trying to sit down doing it one-handed because I can't use my right arm. For 40 minutes, I got about 30, 40 pieces done, and using just the hammer in my left arm. And the inspector came around and said, "Hey, are you okay, Michelle?" And I'm like, "No, did you hear I was electrocuted by a wire on my machine?" She goes, "No, were you sent to the clinic?" I'm like, "No one's even mentioned the doctors." So she ran off, got my foreman. He came back and handed me a green piece of paper and told me how to drive myself to the clinic. I get in the car because, again, I'm still a puppet. I'm doing whatever I'm being told to do. And I start driving to the clinic. I put a headset on, call my dad, who's also part of the union because he works at a different factory. So he's not part of the same union area I am, but still part of the UAW. And I tell him, "I want to let you know, don't worry, I'm okay. But I was injured at work today and I'm on my way to the clinic." And he asked me if I was driving. And I said, "Yes, I'm driving." He goes, "You should not be driving. Even if it's the smallest cut on your finger, somebody else has to drive you to the clinic." And he said, "You had electricity pass through your body. It could have passed through your heart. I am meeting you at the clinic. You are not driving anymore tonight." I get to the clinic. The doctors there yell at me for driving, say I need an EKG, and I'm going to the hospital. Either an ambulance or somebody else is giving me a ride. So my dad ended up taking me to the hospital that night. What ended up happening, and this was a year and a half of trying to figure out what happened, because workers' comp dumped me after a month saying there's nothing wrong with you. You can go back to work with no restrictions. But my right arm was oversensitive. Any touch felt like a punch. Any bumping into me felt like the bones inside me were shattered. Wind, cold, vibration, just about anything could hurt me. And at the time, it was November here in Michigan, so cold was just a thing that was constant. So I didn't realize cold was that bad. And I was going to physical therapy, and I got switched from one doctor to another because I walked in and I'm sitting down in the doctor's office, and the lady doctor comes in and she's standing at the doorway. She's not even walking up to me, and she's saying that I can finally return to work. And I said, "But my hand is still swollen." And she goes, "That's how your hand's supposed to look." I go, "Have you ever sculpted your hand before? Because I have. And this is not how my hand looks. I know how my hand looks. I'm an artist and I'm right-handed. So this is taking away one of my main body parts that I use." And so I complained to workers' comp. They gave me a different doctor, and he contacted my physical therapist and said, "No more electric treatment with her," because he was putting like a TENS unit on my arm for a little bit that didn't seem to do anything. And now switched to heat and cold. So I come in that day, and he took an ice pack that was like the length of my arm, put it on my arm, and I start screaming bloody murder. And he said, "In 15 minutes, it will be numb." I screamed bloody murder the entire 15 minutes. And when he tried to take it off, it was almost connected to my skin, peeling off, and I was completely burnt all the way up my arm. So he's like, yeah, there's something more serious wrong with your arm, and I don't know what this is. I've never seen this before, and I am never putting ice near you again. So I can't handle cold. I try to run away from Michigan in the wintertime because it gets too cold here. But a year and a half later, after going through a neurologist and fighting workers' comp in court, um, I found out that I have what is known as chronic regional pain syndrome, and there's no cure for this. And so this is something I'm living with for the rest of my life. In 2011, I got a wire put in my spine and a battery in my chest to help me with my pain control. So now I can at least touch my hand without feeling it as terrible. I still feel the pain, but if someone bumps into me, it still hurts. I just don't drop to the ground screaming now. It just, I end up, the pain, I guess, builds up somewhere in my body, and I have like what we call non-epileptic seizures, which last anywhere from 3 hours to 7 hours. So medically, it's a nightmare. And I've had over 80 of those this year.
Oof. Jeez. So that was a wild story. I did not know that. My God. How many people do know that?
I share it all the time online. When I had the cowabungacorner.com website, I had November is actually our RSD or CRPS Awareness Month. So I would do stories on the stuff that I lost, like wearing costumes and being able to just sit down and draw normally. When I do a drawing, it's actually torture for me, and it's very hard to draw on paper. So I mostly do it like on a tablet now because it's smoother. But even the roughness of papers feels like it's hitting bruises over my hand when I'm trying to draw.
Oof.
That's how bad the pain is. I can't take showers. It hurts to be out in the rain. It hurts to be out in the wind. I don't like the outside as much as I used to camp all the time, and I'm still an explorer. Even though I'm hurt, I still want to do road trips across country, and I feel every bump in the road, every speed bump, every line in the road, every gravel that they put in there during construction time. That's all pain when I'm going over it.
Oh,
And I can't let this control my life, though. I like to get out and have fun. I like to put smiles on people's faces.
I understand. Same. I used to cosplay as Deadpool all the time, and I was pretty freaking good at it. And that's what brought I think the most joy. Was that I would do Wolverine and Spider-Man and stuff too, but Deadpool was probably that one.
Well, it's Deadpool's personality. You can't help but make people smile when you're Deadpool.
That's true.
Or run in fear if they're bad guys.
Also true.
My best job ever was dressing up like a turtle for birthday parties. That was the best job in my life. And I would do hospital visits for free for kids. I would do home visits for free. Any charity work, we didn't charge them a penny. Not gas, not nothing. We just donated our time and went, and I'd spend hours with these families in need, like at the ICU at Beaumont Hospital for the kids area. It was bringing smiles to people in hard times is one of the best feelings in the world, because you're able to take them out of their pain and misery for that moment and give them a memory that's going to help them get through the situation that they're in.
Did any of them ever have you break character, or did you always stay in character?
Always stayed in character. Even at conventions, I would not break character. And I had one girl following me around at a con when I'm in the costume, and she'd be like, okay, at least just spell your name. What is your name? Spell your name. M-I-C-A. No, what is your real name? Spell your name. And she never let me get past H, so it was fantastic. Because back then Michelangelo had the A right after the H, but I'm the EL, so I could have gone a little further these days, but
it's true.
Back then it was great.
So
no, I totally stay as a turtle when I'm a turtle, because what's the fun in breaking that character? If you're in costume, I mean, dude, bring on the pizza. Let's have some papa and oh yeah, that looks a little bit violent. Let's send Wrath that way. I'm gonna go where the party is. Music, yes.
I haven't had the turtle pizza yet, where it was like mayo, and what are the other things that go on it?
Not a turtle pizza. That's a BLT pizza.
The BLT
it's the one
pizza.
VH1. Yeah, VH1 wanted me to eat a weird pizza. And the funny thing is, I picked a pizza that was from my childhood before I was even a Ninja Turtle fan. I became a turtle fan in 5th grade. I've been eating BLT pizza since 3rd grade. And the reason I got into it, I didn't think I would because it looked like a weird pizza. A pizza place my dad did artwork for had the BLT pizza on their menu. And my dad, my sister, and my brother loved it. And me and my mom were like, They finally cut up this little corner piece and said, try it at least. Just try it. It was so much better than I thought it would be. So I eat BLT pizzas. And they said, we want you making the pizza. I don't normally make the BLT pizza. I order the BLT pizza. You can get it at Jet's Pizza. In Michigan, there's a place called Green Lantern. You can get it there. There are a lot of pizza places that sell BLT pizzas. Nowadays, the original place where I went, they left the tomato sauce on. Nowadays, they use the mayo instead of tomato sauce. So you don't have the tomato sauce on a lot of the pizzas. I don't like fresh tomatoes. So for me, the tomato sauce is the tomato for the pizza. Yeah. So I liked the BLT the old way more than the new way, but I still love going out to Green Lantern and having a BLT pizza. And everyone's like, oh my God, look at all the mayo. I'm like, I normally just do one slice on my plate at a time. And this is what VH1 told me to do. And I didn't do everything they told me to do. They were at my house for 3 days, and they wanted to make me look crazy. And they said it was a serious interview. It was not. It was seriously not. But I put up the making on Cowabunga Corner. If anyone wants to watch that, go to YouTube, search up Cowabunga Corner 40. Cowabunga 40. Just search that up, and you'll find a 40-minute making of video that was actually filmed the first day that they were at our house filming. And yeah, it's crazy what they did.
I've seen a few that one clip that has like 10 million views, but that wasn't on your YouTube. But you have had a couple of videos that have had like 100,000 views and more.
I think my most popular video that I have on YouTube is the world record breaking video, or like the first Cowabunga Corner episode where I introduced myself. Record breaking one kind of surprised me that one is still like one of the ones people watch the most, and I still get comments and stuff on it. Now the update video keeps getting the "Where are you? We missed you" comments, and I'm like, I want to get back into doing this, but this right now, this is part of my bedroom, and I don't even have my bedroom done yet because I want to be able to get turtle stuff all over the walls and the ceiling like I normally would. But down in our basement, we are going to build up a sewer set. And when we get the sewer set, that's where all my interviews and that's where my my Cowabunga Corner will be starting to take place again. When we get that done, we're going to have an editing station right next to it down in the basement. So I'm going to have my filming and editing station where I can work on, be it Cowabunga Corner, my book series, or my dad's books, all in one area. I'm also going to be doing a documentary on my father.
Okay.
So I've got a lot of my most recent project that I just finished, and it took me 2 years to do this. It's been a pain because I'm not used to trying to work with formatting for Amazon, especially on a book that was already finished. And my dad did a book on how to make costumes. In fact, this is a proof of the version I just did. And in his book, it's artwork showing step by step how to make foam rubber costumes. And I wanted it printed properly for the first time because my dad's version of it has always been printed at home and stapled together and stuff only on one side of the page. So when I did the book, I left all of his stuff on the right side, which is how his book was. But on the left side, I added note pages, and every page has a photo of my dad working on stuff or his finished work. So there's even 2 pictures of my turtle costume being made in here. The first picture, this one right here, is my turtle costume in the works back in 1993. And then I believe one of the ones near the last, one of the ones near the back, this is also my turtle costume, Sam.
Sweet.
So that one has fabric inside and outside to help it from tearing. That was a hot costume to wear.
I bet. Oh yeah, especially in the summer. Oh, that'd be awful.
We would be doing outside parties on sunny days with 90-degree weather, and I'd have to stay in the suit for the entire hour without a break. We had a
Oof.
full script I had to follow, and I would be out there. But the one thing is, we would have a bottle of Gatorade and a straw in it that was long enough to go into my actual mouth. And the kids would see me drinking Gatorade, and it would convince them even more that I was real. My
That's
original
so good.
costume didn't have the screen right here, and me and my mom went out one time when there was still no screen, and we went to Little Caesars Funhouse, and I thought I'd find a table and take the suit off, but our table got surrounded by kids. So I had to eat all of my pizza wearing the entire suit. My dad died hearing that I did it, but I did it.
That's
It was fun.
amazing. Yeah, kids give you that certain level of energy. It's like, yeah, okay. I feel like that scene in Live not Live one of the last Die Hard movies where Bruce Willis like the shit we do for our kids, and then he like drives off a helicopter. Um, so there. Speaking of scenes in movies, we have Incorrigible Goat Slayer saying TMNT 2 is a great movie, but it's not close to TMNT 1 when it comes to delivery. TMNT 2 was geared towards kids primarily, while TMNT 1 was meant for a wider audience. Do you agree with that statement?
I totally agree. When Michael Pressman got in, he listened to all the Ninja Turtles are too violent. So if you actually watch Ninja Turtles 2 and have that in mind, what Michael Pressman was thinking, you'll notice that the only turtle that actually used his weapon in a fight is Donatello. The other turtles, while you'll see their weapons through the movie, like Leo threw his swords into the ceiling at one time, you'll never see them swinging the sais, chucks, or swords at any of the foot ninjas or thugs inside the film. Not even Tokan. Well, yeah, Tokan Razar, not even. Donatello's the only one who got away with it, and he used it a few times in the movie, including hitting Toka's plastron. But if
Yeah,
you watch that movie, according to Michael Pressman, he wanted to make it like the E-ride for Disney World. Um, and the original movie was a nice mixture of keeping it dark. They got to use their weapons. They were able to fight. And even though there was no blood drawn, which at the time Beauty and the Beast came out and there was blood in Beauty and the Beast, there's no blood in Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles got nothing but your movie is too violent letters. Meanwhile, Disney gets away with showing blood and violence. But so was the times. So Ninja Turtles 2, they took the weapons away, and Eastman and Laird were not happy with all of the cuts with that movie. And so Turtles 3, if you watch that, they're fighting with their weapons again. So that's one of the reasons that I put Turtles 2 and Turtles 3 equal to each other. Most people won't because they're thinking, oh, the costumes were so horrible in Turtles 3. Well, Turtles 2 had its downfalls too. And I love Turtles 2. I love Turtles 3. The original three movies is still my favorite Ninja Turtle movies. Um, no, that is an unpopular opinion, but I've heard it before. But as long as you're saying one of the first three movies was the best movie, I'm good. I'm good with you. My it's kind of bad. My least favorite movie is 2014, but above that is 2007, which is very wrong for me to say because I actually worked on the 2007 movie. I was a script consultant. I am the reason that the sais break the swords in that movie. But I still call that movie a badly written fanfic. I think that they wanted that fight scene to happen so badly that they took characters out of character to force that movie to happen the way it did. They ignored things that they put into the movie, like the monsters are intelligent. So why are the turtles trying to fight the monsters? When the turtles first see Bigfoot fighting the Foot Clan, why do they attack Bigfoot when they already know the Foot Clan is their enemies?
yeah,
So there's so many things out of character, out of place, forcing that movie along in the direction that it went. While it's a fun movie, it's not in character. April O'Neil and Leonardo and Splinter are the three most taken out of character. I loved Mako as Splinter. I love the voice actor, but I think that the writing where he's trying to force Leonardo to be the leader, you cannot fight until you are a team again. That's not Splinter. They weren't fighting to be a team, they were fighting to do what was right. And
yeah.
that was one of my problems with that movie. And I had to read the script, and I sent them an 11-page report with all that was wrong with the movie, and they still somehow just made it worse.
That's rough. Yeah, I kind of going through that now with the writing of my own comic, where trying to make it like the artist will put in something here and put in something there, and sometimes the artist's like, "Oh, this is actually really good. Thanks for that. This is a great idea." And sometimes it's like, so I know you didn't understand this, but this is explained in like the third book, and I know I haven't given that to you yet, and it's rough. It's hard to communicate.
With
Have
my book
you?
series, my
Mhm.
editor is somebody who role played with me through for like 20 years before we started writing the books. And so she knows my characters inside and out. Usually if she makes a change, I can trust her changes because she actually knows the characters. And most of the time it's her excited going, "Oh wow, I can't believe we're getting this into the books." So we've got 6 books written. Book 1 is still going through editor processing right now, but we have 30 books planned. That's how deep we're into the series. So, and it's characters that I made up for school back in 1991. Actually, I made up in role play and then I used them through school from 1991 to 1997 when I graduated. They were used in school projects and they were used as online fan fiction. And then I joined an online role play and they completely threw the role play. And my friends were all like, when are you doing the book series? And that's what we're working on right now.
Where are you going to plan to release them?
Uh, I'm going to be doing stuff like Amazon, like I'm doing with my dad's book. This is on Amazon right now. This one is. It just went up on Amazon on October 17th. You can find the link on my Instagram bio. But my books, I might also do like the Barnes and Nobles and stuff because I'll be going to more areas where you can put it up to have for sale. But most of it will be print to order. I'm publishing the stuff myself. It's self-publishing through the company Ivy Productions, which I own. It's the same name of the company my dad had back when he did these books. He had Ivy Productions Inc. and I have Ivy Productions LLC. But you can see his handwriting down there saying Ivy Productions because this is his original cover. That is his original handwriting, but I changed and made it 2024 for this copyright. His first book came out in 1994, and then his second version came out in 2006, and so this is a third edition. That's my dad. He passed away in July 24th, 2020. So we're doing as much as we can in memory of him. He was art director for TV shows. He was known as the Detroit Jim Henson with all the stuff he would do.
That's
So
a great comparison. That's a good person to be compared to. There's Alan 401 saying fair assessment. I think Vanilla Ice Dance and TMNT 2 is a special place in my heart. Yeah, that was. I liked it when I was younger, and then I kind of hated it when I was like a teen, and then I was like, I like it again as an adult.
I always liked Turtle Power more than Ninja Rap. And when I read some behind the scenes about that scene, they were originally going to have DeCat on stage. I would have been more excited with that because she did songs on all 3 albums. And Turtles 2, instead they went with a name. And at first I wasn't too fond of it because I'm a fan of 60s music, 50s and 60s. Like you give me the Beatles, the Monkees, the Hermits, the Turtles, you give me those guys. And I've seen them live and I grew up around the Monkees. My sister worked for Mickey Dolenz, so I knew Davy Jones, Peter Tork, and Mickey Dolenz growing up. When I'm looking at music, that's usually what I was into. I was not into rap. And then Vanilla Ice is in there. I'm like, okay, but he's probably in it just for the money. Then I met him, and I could say that he's not in it for the money. He is an actual turtle fan. He does have a turtle tattoo. He's always trying to do comparisons to his own personal turtle collection on having rare items. And now he travels with my friends who are wearing turtle costumes on stage with him. And he's actually a cool guy. So now, because I met him, I like Ninja Rap a lot more. In fact, I've even done it at karaoke before. But I still think that Turtle Power is one of the best Ninja Turtle songs written, hand down. That song to this day, I love what Richard did with the song. I know he made the mistake about Raph being the leader, and if you go and hear him sing it live now, he says Raph's the bad boy of the group, transformed from the norm of the nuclear goop instead of being the leader. So for me, I love Turtle Power, but now Ninja Rap has more of a special spot with me than it used to.
Okay.
I do have
So
some friends that was in that scene.
so for Comic-Con, or I guess for the karaoke, when do you do the karaoke? Do you do it after a couple drinks at Comic-Con? Do you do it like from peer pressure? How do we
Never done
get?
it at actually, there was one time, I can't say never at Comic-Con, but it wasn't even karaoke. Richard Usher had a booth at New York City Comic-Con. I think this was 2016. Um, I think it was around that time. And no, it wasn't because we were staying in the city, so it had to be like 15 or 14. But Richard had a booth at New York City Comic Con, and I'm standing inside his booth hanging out with him, and he starts signing autographs. So he's paying attention to the fans. I didn't think he'd notice, but his radio was playing his music, and on came Turtle Power. I just start singing along with Turtle Power, just getting into it. And then I notice he's looking at me and he grabs up the radio. He turns it down and I keep singing and he turns it up and I'm right on beat with the words. And he turns it down again and he starts pointing at me and getting the crowd cheering me on. And I'm just like going, what just happened? So I performed Turtle Power for Richard Usher before. Normally karaoke though is if I'm out with friends at a bar and they're doing a karaoke night, I'll look through their book and if they have a Ninja Turtle song, which is normally Turtle Power, I will take up Turtle Power and say I'm doing that song. Then only once have I found Ninja Rap inside the book and not Turtle Power, which is hilarious because that's a bar I go to weekly. I don't go for karaoke night weekly. I go for drink and draw night. But every Sunday night I go there, and I think it's Wednesday nights they have karaoke. And my first time going was a Wednesday night. I'm sitting down and flipping through the book. I'm like, wait, you don't have Turtle Power, but you have Ninja Rap? And they're like, oh, well, there's not a karaoke version of Turtle Power. Yes, there is. My first time doing karaoke was Turtle Power out in California. I know there's the Turtle Power. There was one in Arizona in 2023 to celebrate the release of Mutant Mayhem. There was one bar out there that did a Ninja Turtle month. So every Thursday night they did a Ninja Turtle themed event. They did trivia one night. They did karaoke another night. I'm trying to remember what the other two nights were, but we went for each of the events. And karaoke night, I was so disappointed with them because they only had Turtle Power. I'm like, how are you supposed to do a Ninja Turtle themed karaoke if you don't have any of their other songs? They're like, how many other songs do they really have? And I'm like, they did the Coming Out of Their Shells tour, the Getting Down to Your Town tour. They have soundtracks for all three Turtle movies. And then there's even the Japanese theme song, Go, Go, Ta, Tas. So when you sit down and look at it, there is so much other stuff that they could have put in there. So I was going through their book and trying to find other songs that was on the Ninja Turtle soundtrack. So I found like Rolling Under the Melody, Rocking Over the Beat. I kept finding the arcade songs. Tastes a lot like candy and make the sound sweet, not like sweet. Yeah, I did that. I did a bunch of other ones that they did, and then I asked them if I could do one that was a cappella, and they're like, "Wait a second, a cappella?" I'm like, "Well, Follow Your Heart is an a cappella song. There's no music to it, and it's from the Coming Out of the Shells tour. So can I do Follow Your Heart?" Everyone usually requests that from me because of VH1. So that's like the one song that I will like usually be able to just drop off a hat and do.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, I do karaoke from time to time, but I'm not normally drunk. I don't get drunk easy. I've only been drunk once in my life that I can think about. And my sister warned me she was going to get me drunk. I had a swollen face from a bad tooth, and we were on a road trip. I'm the only driver in the car, and we get to a hotel, and she goes, "If this hotel has a bar, I'm going to get you drunk." And I'm like, "What?" And she goes, "Whiskey kills the infections in your mouth." So she brings me down to the bar, and I think I had about 6 cups about this big of Jack Daniel's straight, and then a Long Island iced tea. And
My man.
then I drank 7 tall glasses of water about the same size and no hangover the next day.
How old were you when you did that?
Probably in my 30s.
Because
It was it was 2009, I believe.
if I were to do that in my early 20s, I'd probably be okay the next day. I mean, I would be hurting maybe, but if I were to do that now, I don't know if I could. I mean, I'd try it, but
here's the trick to it. If you have a high pain tolerance, and before I got electrocuted, I did, you have a very high tolerance against things like alcohol and high prescriptions.
I never
Like
made that
someone gives
connection.
me 2 Vicodins extra strength, I can still live the rest of the day without being phased, and I'll still be in pain. It
Whoa.
doesn't take the pain away. My doctors, to help me sleep, if I went 3 nights without sleep back when I first got injured before getting the wire, I was getting morphine pills because of how bad this is. So I have a very high, horrible tolerance. I could sit down and drink in an open bar all night long and not get drunk because I'll just have like I love fruity drinks. I like a rum punch. And there's a convention, I won't name which convention, has an open bar in the green room where I get to hang out. And they make geeky themed drinks in that open bar. And I will get a dirty Michelangelo every time.
What's in a
Like, I
dirty
need a dirty
Michelangelo?
Mikey. It's like a rum punch, and when you say dirty, it's extra alcohol. And even with the
Oh,
extra alcohol, I've never gotten drunk at that con, not
huh.
once.
I would. Interesting. So I like, well, if we're gonna go into that area, I can drink a fair bit. I choose really not to anymore because like when I like to drink, I like to eat. It winds up, it's not even about the cost where I like to buy for me and buy for my friends. It's just about the amount of calories that I consume, and
Oh,
it's not good. And I don't know why. Sometimes I like feel it. Oh, my heart hurts, and then I eat clean for a while, and then it's fine. So yeah, when I drink, it's really about onion rings and mozzarella sticks and pizza.
at our local bar, they don't have that kind of stuff, but they got a barbecue place. So we'll get like the
Oh,
mac and cheese, and we'll have their cheesecake. They get their cheesecake from somewhere else, but their cheesecake is really good. And they have this blueberry cornbread that is just delicious. And that's one of my favorite things to get on their menu. But normally when I go to the bar, even for drink and draw, but the main thing I'm getting is just a Shirley Temple because I don't really get a buzz off of the alcohol or anything. So there's
yeah.
no real point to be drinking alcohol when I could have something tastier that I really enjoy. So most of the time I'm like, oh yeah, give me a Shirley Temple extra grenadine. I need that grenadine. Sugar, sugar. Now I'm going into Baxter Stockman mode. You're up here somewhere, Baxter. I know you are.
Have you ever had Not Your Father's root beer?
Yes, I have.
That's
I
like
have had
my
that one before.
favorite thing. I
Okay.
I don't. It's not like popular anywhere, which is crazy because it's so good.
Have you ever tried Fago?
No, what is that?
Okay, Fago is a brand of soda pop here in Michigan. And we have and it's got a ton of flavors, everything from root beer, orange, moon mist, which is their Mountain Dew flavor. They got their cola. They got something called Rock and Rye, which is like yeah. Rock and Rye is a Michigan thing. If you come to Michigan, you got to try Rock and Rye. But now Fago is going across country. You can find it in more gas stations and stuff. It's just more expensive outside of Michigan. In Michigan, it's the cheap soda because it's made here. But I love their root beer. I am such a huge root beer fan. Yes, that
Oh.
Fago was made famous by the Insane Clown Posse, but I was drinking Fago before there was an Insane Clown Posse. And my sister
Before
went to high school
ICP?
with those guys.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Yeah. And I worked at ADRESS a night where they had them in there haunting. And I think that was my worst night of haunting over there. Those guys were ruining our haunts.
So
They,
I used to live in New York, but am now in the great state of Ohio, and apparently my state hates your state. So, um,
anyone who
but
talks sports might feel that way, but if you're in a non-sports house, who cares? I mean,
so
you want to talk about Ohio and my family having connections? My dad was the art director on the Ghoul Show, which is from Cleveland.
yeah,
So,
that
yeah.
although I don't know the kids nowadays for anything that is deemed like bad or like it sucks is like, oh, that's like Ohio. And they say like Ohio as like a term of the opposite of endearment. It's like, oh man, that is rough.
I
And
don't know. I go through Ohio a lot. because I travel all the time. Like if I want to go to Kentucky, even New York, unless I go through Canada, I'm going through Ohio. Um, Ohio, I used to, when I was staying to the East Coast, I used to consider it kind of the boring state because it was like driving through farmland only. And also, it's the state where the police will go after you if you speed a little. So
Mm.
it's set your cruise control in this state. Because they go after Michiganders, especially. Uh, and then I went through Nebraska and I learned that there can be flatter states than Ohio. Nebraska is very hard to drive through. Besides for the fact that Nebraska is the last state that has a Bennigan's. I love Bennigan's, so I will go there for my Monte Cristo. But if I'm going through Ohio, I want my Monte Cristo from Melt over in Cleveland. It's actually Mentor, Ohio, near Cleveland. They have some amazing sandwiches, including Ninja Turtle themed sandwiches. They got the cowabunga. So you go there, they got drawings of their different menus. So there's some Ninja Turtle drawings on the walls. So yeah, if you want to see a fun place that makes great sandwiches and you're on Ohio, go up to Mentor, Ohio. There's a place called Melt. And I will highly recommend their Monte Cristo. It is actually really, really good. And they have way more vegan options or vegetarian options. My sister's not vegan, but she's vegetarian because she has allergies against meat that has brought her into the hospital. So we have to be very careful where we eat. We can go there and she can get a vegetarian chili. I love it. I love it.
Huh.
She actually can eat there. So I love Melt. There, a post for an Ohio place that I wish was here in Michigan.
Cool. I have a in 2021, I did this thing where I wanted to find like the pizzeria that had the best chicken bacon ranch slice. And it turned out to be this place called La Focaccia, and this place called Levittown, New York in Long Island. And it was great. So like I will make this another challenge in 2026 to find the best Monte Cristo sandwich or the best whatever sandwich that we
Good
can
luck.
find.
Good luck.
You know,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I
Yeah.
lived in New York for a while. I've probably seen you at a New York Comic Con at some point. I've gone from 2013 through now. You weren't at this one though. Oh, why
No, I
weren't you at
wasn't.
this? Okay.
Um, and 2022, I stopped. I just stopped. I was there from their first New York City Comic Con in 2006 till 2022. And or was it 2023? It was one of those 2 years. It's been 2 to 3 years since I've gone. And it's nothing to do with the con. In fact, this year was the first time where I actually felt a bit of a deep sadness by not going. But at that convention, I made one of my best friends. And I mean, this guy became like a brother to me. He lived in Virginia, and I met him by running through the line for people in line for the Ninja Turtle panels. So this was during the 2012, 2013 con. And I was handing out business cards for the Ninja Turtle message board I was on, TMNT. I ran it as Michelangelo. And I handed this guy who was wearing a rubber Ninja Turtle mask and a Ninja Turtle hoodie one of these cards. No words exchanged between us, but he knew who I was. And so he started emailing me from the card because it didn't just have the URL on there, it had my email. And he says, I want to send you a gift. Actually, the gift is sitting in a display case right over near me. And the gift that he wanted to send me was the Raphael piggy bank that just came out to the stores. And I agreed to this. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. And the next time I'm going out to the con, he's like, hey, are you coming back to New York City Comic Con? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, I want to meet you. I want to hang out with you this time. So let's do it. He finds out that my sister and I are planning to camp in our car in Jersey. And he's like, no, that's not happening. You're staying in my hotel room. And after that, he started sponsoring us coming to the convention, paying for our badges and our hotel. But I told him the con would not be the same without him. He made the con for me. We hung out outside the con. We would go to Ninja Turtle filming locations through New York City. I have a picture of him in front of Roy's Pizza when it was still Ray's, back when the original owners who owned it when they filmed Ninja Turtles 2 still owned the restaurant, was still alive. Mario was still alive. I have pictures of us there, and we did a lot of stuff. He was an amazing soul. And then in 2016, things got really bad for me. Workers' comp started to bully me out of my income. They wanted me to try and get a job, and I'm like, well, I go through these seizure attacks that last 3 to 7 hours, and what happens if one happens while I'm at a job? And they're like, well, there would be a chair you can crawl to. That's the exact line she said. My sister was sitting at the next booth over listening to this entire conversation, stood up and just started yelling at her after she said that, like, you don't know what we're going through. Her face changes colors, her lips swell up, she can't breathe. There's no way she can crawl to or even get into a chair if she goes into one of these attacks. The lady didn't believe us till 3 meetings later, and she witnessed one where I was throwing up and everything right in front of her. And then she got told by the fake workers' comp doctors that I could still do this, and I could hold a job with no restrictions. And so workers' comp was extremely bullying me, and I got suicidal that year. But my friend, I called him Metalhead on Cowabunga Corner. Metalhead was calling me, and the two of us at the time, my pain level, it was winter. I was bedridden in bed because I couldn't leave Michigan with workers' comp on me at the time. So I'm stuck in my room, only getting up to go to the bathroom or to maybe get some food. But most of the time I was in bed because of how bad things hurt. And he would call me and we'd talk, and both of us were sharing each other's dramas or whatever was really heavy on our chest. And one time he called and he starts saying that there's these Ninja Turtle cookies that nobody ever remembers. And I go, oh, shell cookies. He goes, no. They were these chocolate cookies with this green icing around them. I'm like, shell cookies. No. That can't be it. That can't be it. And he keeps trying to challenge me on this. Well, I had an area set up when I was doing toy review before in that room. And underneath the glass thing on my desk was an original box of shell cookies. So I reached over and I slid that out. And I took pictures of it and I sent it to him on using my iPad. And I'm like, hey, check your messages. And he goes, oh my God, that's some. Oh my God, that's some. We end up having an 8-hour conversation on nostalgia. Not only did he help pull me out of where my head was during that 8-hour phone call, he inspired me. I did a year's worth of Cowabunga Corner toy reviews within one night. They were already filmed. I just had to edit them and write up the articles. And I got it set up so that they would publish every Friday for an entire year. And I also started working on my Shaper books that night. So I could say that the books that I'm getting ready to publish, the things that's going to have a 30 book at least publication thing, it was him that inspired me that I could still do stuff. And it was just pulling me out of where workers' comp had me, one of the worst times in my life. And so I had so much to be thankful for. And we were doing trips. And then in 2021, he finds out he might have leukemia. He just might have it. And at this time, we're going through the after COVID. There is a Ninja Turtle event at the farmhouse from the first Ninja Turtle movie, an overnight camping experience where you can camp on the property, and we're going to see the Ninja Turtle movie on a big screen there. So they got an inflatable screen. We're all going to get a tour through the farmhouse and get to camp on the property. And I convinced him he couldn't do the camping because of his health, but I convinced him to at least come. And we have all these pictures of us at the farmhouse and hanging out. We got a hotel for the other nights because we stayed in the area to also tour some of the other filming locations in Wilmington. But that was the last real trip that he got to enjoy an event. In 2022, well, he had his New York City Comic Con badges that year, but because he could not get a COVID vaccine with his health diagnosis, he gave his badge to my sister. So my sister and I went. He came and shared the hotel room with us, and we went and spent a beautiful day in Central Park. We went all the filming locations that we could find from We Wish You a Turtles Christmas and Turtle Tunes. I found one I didn't even know was the fountain where Mikey's skateboarding around the fountain. I've known of that. and I've gone to it many times. I love to skate around the fountain all the live long day. I love to skateboard around the fountain just to pass the time away. Michelangelo, Michelangelo, oh, where did he go? Oh, Michelangelo, Michelangelo, where did he go? Has anyone seen Michelangelo? Has anyone seen him? I know, okay. But yeah, that fountain, I go there, but I always took the steps upward around the sides of the building that's right there. And it's always been like daytime. So inside there, it's always been dark. I've never looked inside there. But this time it was getting dark and the lights were turned on inside. And there was even a concert going. So there was all these people inside this area. And I look and I go, oh my goodness, this is where they filmed. Gotta get a gift. Gotta get a gift. Gotta get a gift. Gotta get a gift for Splinter. Gotta get a gift for Splinter. I hate shopping in the winter. Well, we gotta get a gift for Splinter. He's the last one on our list. The only one we missed. And I'm like going, oh my God. I pulled up the video on my phone, hold up it up, and I'm like, this is really it. So I grabbed my coming out of their shell store toys and start taking pictures of them there because I was just that excited. I'm like going, this is too cool. I got to contact my friends from the tour and say I found this filming location. I didn't realize they were right in the same area. So if anyone's near Central Park and wants to see some turtle filming areas, those are right there together. And that was a great day. And that was my last time in New York with him. A year later, in June, he contacts me. We're supposed to be at a convention. We're working a booth for a friend in Pennsylvania. Detroit Leather wanted us to run their booth. And so my sister and I were going, and Metalhead was going to come and join us because he knows both me and my sister are handicapped, and he wanted to do the labor stuff and help us. But a few days before the convention, he was told, you have acute myeloid leukemia. This is so serious. We are admitting you straight into the hospital. We're going to be bringing your immune system down to nothing, as if you were a newborn. And you cannot have visitors. You cannot have even plants in your room. And this is happening immediately. So that weekend, I got a book, a Ninja Turtle book, and I started having everyone sign it up for him to get well soon. The 4 original voice actors were there, Tony, Rob, Barry, and Cam. They all signed that book. And we started doing everything we could. I got a hold, he sent me the hospital information. I contacted over 100 people who worked on Ninja Turtles to send him get well soon cards and wish him well-being. And he'd call me at times. He caught pneumonia a few times while he was in the hospital. And we'd talk almost every day for 5 to 6 hours on the phone. I would drop whatever I was doing just to be there for him, knowing he's going to survive. He's going to get through this. He's strong. And he'd call me sometimes just sick and say, Michelle, I can't really talk long today. I'll talk to you later. Hang up. And then an hour later, I'll be getting, Michelle, what did you just do? Like, what are you talking about? I just got an envelope. Who in the world is Roby? Oh, Roby wrote for the original cartoon series. What? This is one of the writers from the original Turtle cartoons. And he opened up the envelope and he pulls out these cards that are signed to him with the episode titles that Roby wrote. And then a full get well soon card that's all signed up and a little letter in there saying how I let him know about him. And he'd send me pictures of everything he was getting in the mail. Michelin Sisti sent him a plant, and he was so sad because the plant was not allowed to be brought to his room. No. So he just got the card from the plant. So his mom came and took the plant home. And then in August, he was told, you have only this speck of cancer left. You can go home. Now, with leukemia, it's a blood cancer. When you go home, that doesn't mean you're okay. You need to rest because you don't want that pumped through your body. He didn't rest. During his 2 weeks home, he was doing chores. And things did not go too well. I got to visit him. He gave me a Ninja Turtle movie jacket. So if you see the pictures of me where I'm wearing the movie jacket with the poster from the first Turtle movie, that was my last gift from Roger. We visited. I gave him the book. By that time, it was signed up at conventions all across the country, including San Diego Comic-Con. So Kevin Eastman was in there. Stan Sakai did a Usagi Yojimbo drawing for him. The day after I left, he was admitted back in the hospital, in November, he was released, and he caught COVID and put back in the hospital, and he was gone a few days later. And this is who when I look at New York City Comic Con, this is the friend that I saw. This was the friend that I was going there to have my meals with. I got other friends there. Trust me, I have friends I miss seeing there. But this right there is the guy that helped me so much through my life. And then he was just gone. And I post about him all the time on Cowabunga Corner. I'll be tagging him in pictures saying that I miss him. I'll go to his Facebook page and write long letters of, this is what's going on in my life. I wish you were here for it. Your friends, the fandom, they're all we're all this huge mesh. And every single one of us makes a part of this mesh. If we know each other or not, it is the fans that made it so Ninja Turtles have had all these TV series. It is us buying the stuff. It is us showing up at the events. It's us having our voices. Some of us might be louder than others, but every person's passion, no matter how small, even if it's just a kid who owns one doll, but that doll means the world to them, all of our passion is equal. And all of us make this huge puzzle complete. And when a piece of that is taken away, I feel it. And there's so many from the turtle fandom. I've been in the fandom since the 90s. I've lost a couple friends in the fandom to cancer. I lost one to a stroke. She was at work. She was sitting on a school bus. And if anyone's seen the TV show Fanatical that I was on, they covered 2 different turtle fans. The other turtle fan was Gina. Bus lady is what we called her on the turtle groups. I've known her years before we did the TV show Fanatical, and I'd hang out with her when I go to California. And her husband called me the day after she had the stroke, when she had passed away the next morning, and she's just gone. And when you stop and see those pieces disappearing, it does hurt, but the puzzle keeps growing. More fans keep joining, and every single one of us keeps giving something else to the fandom. And all of us are important. If we like the other person or not, I will promote bloggers of people who hate me because I think their articles are good and I don't have issues with them, but they're either jealous or they got personal issues with me. And I'm like, life's too short for us to hold on to that stuff. We got to enjoy life. And that's what I try to do when it comes to the fandom. And I will always feel that he was a huge, not just a small little puzzle piece like it would be for somebody else who doesn't know him, but he was a huge piece in the puzzle for me. And I need to get to the point where I can walk through the doors of the Chavez Center again in honor of him. But I'm not ready yet. I'm just not ready yet. I miss him so much.
I understand. There's a show called Kyle XY, and in the first episode, he hears his neighbor playing Paco Bell's Canon in D, and he's like got this dude with amnesia. He's like his first time hearing it, and he says it's the most beautiful sound in the world, and he thought that it was meant to fill all that heard it with joy and love and emotion. And then the girl's mom comes home and she's like, Amanda, I'm home. And she just walks on by. And he says that it then struck me that there were those in this world that could not appreciate this miracle. And his sadness and sorrow grew for them. I feel that same way about people that don't either like watch cartoons or get into like any type of manga or like this. Tell me, out of your encyclopedic knowledge of TMNT, what do you think is the most important lesson that it's taught you?
I think it's all on the individuals. And I think every individual latches to something in their life. Now, someone might not appreciate the turtles like we do or cartoons like we do, but they got something that they're passionate about and they feel the same way. Like right now, I'm marathoning King of the Hill because I want to watch the new season, and I feel like I won't do it justice unless I've watched all the old stuff. And I'm even on the last season of the old stuff. And Hank is so obsessed over propane and propane accessories. I mean, that obsession is just unreal to me. And look at me. it gets to the point where he actually gets angry if he walks into somebody's barbecue and he sees that they got charcoal instead of propane. And I just laugh at that because I don't get angry. Like if I walk, I'm not a huge Power Ranger fan. It is probably the one fandom out there. It's never clicked with me. I got friends who are massive Power Ranger fans, and I got one that I said that I would marathon this with. He's the only person I'll watch it with because his story was actually passionate enough and fulfilled enough to where I was like, okay, you're the person that I want to watch this series with because I think you will have stuff to say to me during the show that will help me understand anyone liking this because I think the acting is horrible and they're not doing martial arts, they're dancing. In the first Power Ranger movie, there's only one real sidekick. And I know I took dance and I took martial arts. So and every time the villain shows up, they have to grow big to fight the villain. And the Ninja Turtles just go into Krang's body and destroy the thing and shrink them back down to size. Ninja Turtles inspired me to stand up against bullies no matter their size, while Power Rangers teach you that you have to be as big or powerful as the villains. So for me, that is not a thing that I can understand, but I know other fans are into it. But if I walk in and they got a huge Power Ranger collection, I'm not going, oh, you're doing this wrong. You need to be collecting this instead. No, I did do that with one kid, but I didn't do it in that way. In fact, I just made him into a turtle fan. But I fixed things before he moved away. But when it comes to Hank with his propane, he actually gets angry and he doesn't understand people with charcoal. And he thinks if people are not thinking the same way as him, then they're wrong. But that should not be the way we think. Because if everybody was exactly the same, if we were all on the same page, if we all loved the same stuff, it would be the most boring world ever. Nobody would really understand what we sacrifice to get what we enjoy. Nobody would understand the ups and downs of life. Like I had Jehovah's Witness show up on my porch once saying, don't you want to live in this world of all peace? And I'm like, no, I don't really want to live in the world of Barney. They're like, wait a second, what? And I'm like, I want to appreciate the good times. Yeah, I go through seizures, but I don't make my life about those bad times. I go through these hard times. I've been dragged down the expressway by another car before. My mom and my sister has been picked up by a tornado. My sister has broke her neck in the ocean. My mom is caught on fire. My mom was in a hurricane where the window in her hotel room smashed and the glass just went through into the room, slicing through the bed where she was just laying as she got up to go turn the channel, the TV on to see the news on the weather. We have had horrible situations to where we could write books about this stuff. But at the same time, we've been backstage at our favorite concerts. I've been inside the studios. I've been in Playmates Toys. I've been in Nickelodeon Animation Studio. I've been in Mirage Studios several times. I have been to NECA. I've got to watch, when I was at NECA, Trevor was sculpting this guy. So, I mean, that's one of my few visits to NECA. He was actually sculpting him. So when I'm walking into these places and I'm living all this amazing stuff, I can appreciate it because not only is it something that I love and I can't believe I'm actually doing, little me would be so surprised when I could say, yeah, I'm friends with everyone that I had on the top of my tier when I was a kid. I never thought I'd meet Michelin Sisti, Leaf Tilden, or Ernie Rice Jr., but I see all of them as friends. Townsend Coleman, Barry Gordon, Rob Paulson, Cam Clark, Renee Jacobs. I can look at these people and walk up to them. I've already said thank you for your work. Instead, it's, hey, how's life treating you? What's going on? We're not always talking turtles. We're not always talking about their work. We're talking about life and what we enjoy as friends now. And when you could stop and do that, it's a really amazing area to be. And I can't be more thankful. I go through stuff. Everyone has their hardships. And everyone has their different passions. But instead of going, why can't they appreciate our passion? If we want them to appreciate our passion, we got to try and understand their passions. We got to understand the shoes that they're walking in. And that is something that I usually try to definitely hold in my lifestyle. My sister's working on tiki shows. I'm not really into the tiki scene, but my sister does a lot of tiki artwork. You guys will see me on Instagram sharing her flasks and her tiki cup and stuff. And we went to a tiki show this summer where she was selling her artwork. And I was walking to the different booths and hearing these people's passion. And that made me as high as if I just went to a Comic-Con. So it isn't about what the passion is. It's about the passion itself. It's about every single one of us cherishing what we have and being able to embrace it. And for me with Ninja Turtles taught me to read, taught me to defend myself, and got me thousands of friends around the world. That's my reason for being in it the way I am. And the reason that I'm still in it the way I am is because I want to help encourage to keep it around for future generations of people like me who needed that entertainment, that version of entertainment. And I'm hoping that we can keep it around for many generations even after I'm gone. I held petitions, I've held events back in 2000 and when there was nothing Ninja Turtles just to keep it around for the future generations. And that's what I still try to do.
It's a fantastic answer that I hope either your fans or my fans, they clip it and they put it to like one of those like Joe Rogan things, like there's birds flying in the background and there's mountains, rivers running. Oh, that was such a great answer. There's a so at TMN or at Comic-Con this year, there was my friend David got a picture with the collab with the Magic the Gathering. Have you seen that? I assume you have, but have you?
I've got friends who posted videos of their pizza truck. I wish I could have had pizza from there. I wish I got the pizza boxes at least. I personally have never played Magic the Gathering, but my brother was really, really big into it back when he was a teenager, to where he would go to tournaments and stuff in the area. So I actually, as soon as I saw that on Instagram, I called him up and said, "Hey man, you're all psyched about this collab that's happening right now on the game that you're playing, but check out Magic the Gathering is doing it." And he's like, are they going to do a Rat King pack? Because I need the Rat King because they already have a lot of rats in the games. And picture the pack you can make with the Rat King and all the rat packs. And I'm like going, okay, he has ideas on what to do with it. If I collect it, it would just be for the collecting sake. I don't see me actually getting into playing the game. But that's kind of like a lot of the other turtle games and stuff that have been coming out right now. We got so many collabs. So many collabs. Some of them just do not make sense to me. The recent McDonald's Hello Kitty collab, what? Huh? How did that even happen?
About that.
And yeah, that just now I know a few years ago they had Ninja Turtle toys and Hello Kitty toys at the same time, but I think that's the closest Ninja Turtles and Hello Kitty were ever together before. And now we have the Hello Kitty Ninja Turtle toys. And then there's the Naruto crossover. I have a T-shirt for that. I have the keychain set. I have the little cup that came with the chopsticks. I have the backpack. I have the hat. I'm a fan of Naruto and I'm a fan of Ninja Turtles. So my only complaints is they got the wrong characters as the characters. Michelangelo's the only one right. Michelangelo would be Naruto. That is correct. The orange is not the only thing. The personality is. But Leonardo would not be Sasuke. Leo could not be Sasuke. Sasuke is farthest from who Leonardo would be. If Leonardo's going to be anywhere, it should be Shikamaru. And then Raphael, I do like Gaara, but I do think he's more of a Sasuke because of he's the emo one who is by the side of the actual team. Gaara is too big of a leader. So Gaara's a leader somewhere. Raph wishes he was a leader somewhere. But I would think that we should have Sasuke as Raph. And Donatello. Donnie's kind of the harder one. I had him figured out. I did have him. No, Leo would be Rock Lee and Donnie would be Shikamaru. That's what it was. Because Rock Lee is the one obsessed with the martial arts and trying to make the teacher extremely proud of him, wearing the same clothing the teacher wears, same eyebrows, everything, bushy brows. But Shikamaru is the smart guy who can like figure everything out by looking at a situation where it's like all the technical, this is what we need to do because of these technical reasons, which isn't how Leo thinks. Leo does have his strategy way, but he doesn't have the where he sits there and sees everything in a different light than everyone else. So yeah, I think they got the kids wrong.
That's
But
fair.
I still got all the toys. I'm like, Kakashi should not be with the kids. Kakashi should be a Splinter toy.
There's you mentioned San Diego Comic-Con before. Love that. Dragon Con is also one of my favorites. Incorrigible Goat Slayer says he was in Collecticon Orlando and apparently was headed by Vanilla Ice, and he did the turtle wrap and he got his TMNT book signed by him, also signed by Eastman. Seems like it was pretty dope. Aside from New York and San Diego, what other cons have you been to? What ones stand out to you?
Okay, confession time. I was at conventions when I was a baby. I grew up in the con circuit. I don't have a time in my life where I was not going to conventions. So I can never list all the conventions I've been to because I started off with sci-fi and horror, then comic, then anime, then the big conventions that are all mixed with everything. Notable conventions, which I will give shout outs to, obviously New York and San Diego are two of the biggest I go to. There's also Toronto Fan Expo, which is on par with New York. San Diego trumps both. I don't care what New York says. New York is like, we sell more tickets than San Diego. No. San Diego, if you go to San Diego, it's an experience. It's not just a convention. You walk outside of New York, go across the street, and you're out of the convention. You walk outside of San Diego, you go across the street, and then you still got to go about 3-4 miles before you're out of the convention.
Yeah.
This entire city, they're holding parades, they're mocking up buildings. There's cosplayers like 3 to 4 blocks down, taking over every bar, every hotel. There's industry parties in every bar and hotel. You go through New York, you'll never find where the industry parties are. You go to San Diego, it's like, oh, there's an industry party over there. There's an industry party over there. There's an industry party over there. You know where they are. You can go mingle with celebrities at the bar. And there's such a huge difference. So if anyone tries to say that New York is bigger than San Diego, they're lying. And this is somebody who goes to both regularly. Now, other conventions that are not as large that are notable to me. I love Youmacon. It is an anime convention in Detroit. It's going through waves right now with the people running it, who's in charge and stuff. But I still call a lot of the staff my con family. So I will still stand by that convention no matter where things are with it. I'm going to always be on the positive upbeat that, hey, there's people there that are our family to me. Grand Rapids Comic Con is fun. I might be skipping it this year, which I did not want to because they got a lot of turtle guests. But I want to go to a different convention for my mom because they got a guest for a show she loves called Resident Alien. Ellen Tunick is going to be at a different con the same weekend, and I'm like, oh! So I'm going to make my mom's convention instead of going to Grand Rapids. I know the turtle guys. She don't know Ellen yet. I want to give her all the experiences that she can have. Family first. Conventions that I like Astronomicon when I go. It's usually fun. It's a small convention here in Michigan. I used to go to Katsucon a lot in the DC area. That was a fun convention for a while. Anime Next was my first anime con. I used to do years ago, but I have not been there in 15 years. So I go to conventions by the guest list, not by the name of the con.
That makes sense.
And there was a while there I was doing anywhere from 10 to 15 conventions a year. But it was always the guest list. I'll find out which guests have the best Ninja Turtle guests that I want to meet or I already know. Oh, there's an awesome convention. It is so tiny. It is a free to attendees to go to, but it's in Canada. It's in a small area in Wallaceburg, Ontario. It's called the Wallaceburg Comic Con. And they usually are kind of Ninja Turtle themed. The last 2 years, they brought in a Ninja Turtle guest that have not been to any other conventions yet, which is Michelangelo's costume actor and Michelangelo's puppeteer from the third Ninja Turtle movie. So David Frazier and Gord Robinson would be there. We usually also have Shashir, who's Michelangelo's stunt double from the third movie. If we could get Robbie there, it would be the entire set of Mikey from that movie. This year we also had Leatherhead from the 2003 series there. It's free to get in. Autographs are cheaper than they are at the big cons, and it is a nice hangout. I like smaller cons because smaller cons you can actually take time to get to know people. At the big cons, you're like, oh, San Diego Comic-Con, there's a line. If you wanted to Hall H, you're getting in line the day before.
Yeah.
And you're staying overnight in that line. If you want a good seat, you're staying overnight. You can get the little ticket thing and go back to your hotel and come back in the morning. But there's going to be thousands of people in front of you. So while you have the thing guaranteeing you a seat, most of the seats in the back are just staring at a video screen. And it's like you're not really at there because that room holds 6,500 people. So if you want in that room with a good seat, you stay overnight. And that's a camping party line. But if you want to meet the guest, whoa, awesome, another Michiganer. If you want to meet the guest, then the smaller conventions are so much nicer because then you don't have a line behind you when you're up there paying for that autograph, and you can have a conversation with the guest. But if you're going to a big con and you got a line behind you, they'll try to give you a conversation. Some will just do the, and I hate those lines. But the ones that will try to give you a conversation have their handlers over on the side doing this to them. And because of that, you don't really get the conversation. So I always like the small cons. If you got a local small convention, or if you follow me on Instagram, I'm constantly sharing in my stories. I will share the guests' conventions if I'm going or not, just to get the news out. Yes, this guest is going to be at this convention. This guest is going to be at this convention. I want to go to GalaxyCon in Columbus in December because they got a line of guests that most of them I know and one I haven't met yet. And I'm like going, I want to go to that one. So I will share their stuff to help make sure the news get out further to the fandom. So if you're looking for cons, I do try to help fans with that area.
The fans appreciate that. We love that. Cardinal Ghost Letters says, I hope VeVe drops first appearance of TMNT, first appearance Casey Jones in the comics format. Do you know what VeVe is?
Not a clue.
They're a digital collectibles company. It started with Batman and Superman. So it started with a big license, which was cool. They had Tokidoki. They have like a couple hundred brands now. They had just gotten the rights for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and in November they are going to have. I think they're just going to start off with the 4 turtles. Next year they're going to have the what's the turtle like street sweeper vehicle? I forget the name of it.
Street sweeper vehicle.
It's like I think I have a screenshot of it. I can take a look and see what it. Not the blimp. The party wagon.
Okay, the van. Yeah, the turtle van. I got that. That's right here. That's the NECA version of that toy. That's what the turtles are standing in front of. I never seen that as a street sweeper. It's a VW van turned into a turtle vehicle. It's not a street sweeper.
I could not tell what it was with the because it was just like in black and white. But I would like to, and I don't know if you've ever had any digital collectibles. I would like to get you at least one of the turtles on there. Use my link down below. You get $10 free, and I think they're going to be $40 each. So I'll just Venmo you or Zelle you the other 30, so you could get one of them.
Okay.
I like digital. I was a big Pokemon nerd. I don't even want to say back in the day because I still love that shit. It is I love Nintendo. Whole Nintendo sleeve over there, all that jazz. And I'd spent a lot of money on Pokemon cards, like in the 6 figures. It was insane. But you wind up losing space for a lot of stuff. So I moved over to digital. So I have almost 1,100 collectibles, and I have almost 1,000 comics, and they're all digital, so they don't take up space. So it's really fun. It's just another way to collect. And I guess I want to ask you in
running out of space. I don't know if I've ever realized that before.
when you buy stuff, like obviously you started for the love of collecting and the love of the hobby, but yes. At any point did you ever think that, oh, if I get this and I pay $100 for it and I sit on it for a couple of years, I'll probably be $500 in the future? Or does ROI not enter your mind?
Nothing in my collection has ever been for sale. In fact, when I get extras, like sometimes the companies send me stuff and they'll send me doubles of characters, I've given them away as freebies on my site, even though the toy could go for like $40, $50. I don't look at the fans and say money. I look at the fans and say how many of them are struggling financially like I am in this comedy that we're in, and what can I do? In fact, I get stacks of the old trading cards. I go up to the actors at events and say, here's a stack of cards of your character. Sign as many as you want if you want to. These are given away free to the fandom. And just give them back to me before the end of the con. And most of them will sign the entire stack of cards. And then I do free giveaways. So I have cards that have all 4 turtle signatures on it. I have Judith Hogue cards. I have Robbie Risk cards, Ernie Rage Jr. cards. And this is all because the actors are kind enough to sign these for free. And then I get online and say, hey, I'm doing a free giveaway. What do you guys want? And that way I'm actually helping fellow turtle fans get stuff, and it's not about financial gain. I have done Kickstarters before where I have asked for money for stuff, but I had rewards for everything on the Kickstarters. And I have done GoFundMe's when I'm in stressful needs where I'm hoping people will help us like we help other people. We've moved people in who've lost their homes before and given them homes several times. I can like count more than 10 people that have lived under our roof during rough times in their lives where we helped them get back on their feet. I took one friend who was almost killed by her family and had her live in my house, in my room for a year, and was able to give her keys for her own apartment where I helped her for the next 5 years with being able to re-get into society because she was drugged so much by her medications that she was not really ready to enter society when she first came into our life. And this is somebody I knew from junior high who got drugged up by her family 10 years later, and I took her in. I tried to help her. So we've done a lot for other people. So when we have like floods and stuff, I've done GoFundMe's. I get picked on, just sell your turtle stuff. And I'm like, no, my turtle stuff is my hope for a future. I want to open up a museum. I think things like this right here does not belong. Don't fall. Do not belong inside one person's little collection sitting here collecting dust where nobody sees it. I bring it to conventions. I bring it out to events. If I'm going to any turtle event, this is usually one of the movie props on me. This is the screen used combat cold cuts from Ninja Turtles 2 to Secret of the Ooze. And I do bring these to a lot of different places for fans to see. But wouldn't it be great if it had a museum to be a home where fans could come and see this stuff? And learn the history of not just the creative teams and the series, which you could find in books and stuff, but history of fellow fans as well. My goal for the museum is not just a display of collections. And I do mean collections, not just my collection. I want to make sure the museum rotates through a lot of different people's collections, but also to share the memory of the deceased fans and the deceased people who've worked on Ninja Turtles, from James Avery to my friend Roger, who passed away. I think they all deserve an area where their part in our history can be shared, can be experienced. And what they did and what they put into it, their friends will have an area to comment publicly that people could enjoy. But I also want to share the histories, like Eastman and Laird and everything they really went through in creating the Turtles, the adventure that it was owning the Turtles back there in the heyday of the 90s, to where things were a little bit more sporadic between the late 90s and early 2000s to the Viacom buyout and what's going on now with Ninja Turtles. They've switched hands so many times. IDW is like the main solid base of Ninja Turtles with Viacom, because IDW was the first thing to release in 2011 with their comic series. They're still going, even though it's not the same series. It's not still Tom Waltz. It's all connected. But if you stop and look at Nickelodeon has now handed the cartoon rights off to Paramount doing the Mutant Mayhem. So really the main cores of the Ninja Turtles with Viacom is still IDW, and then next to that would be Playmates Toys. So
again, beautiful answer. I love all of those. So the digital collectibles, I'll show you one thing real here. You can take pictures of them in AR, so that's really cool. Like, so that's not really there.
That's fun.
Yeah, so that gets, there's some that are animated, there's some that have sound. I guess VeVe has the rights to the music as well. So I don't know how that's going to be in with the collectibles. Maybe when you press them, they dance or something. I don't know. We haven't seen it yet, but I'll like I said, I'll definitely pay for one of them for you. Hopefully, start your digital collecting. It's really fun,
Okay.
and we all go to the
Yeah,
cons each year too. So
I'll probably go after the Michelangelo.
that
I don't know. He's kind of my favorite turtle. He's all around
I
me.
always liked Donatello. I really liked him just because of the weapon that he had in the
He has the
Turtles
best
in Time.
weapon. I give you that. He does.
Yeah, like in the because the Turtles in Time. I assume you played the old Super Nintendo video game.
Not Super Nintendo. No, no. Uh, I played the arcades. I had Nintendo and I had Sega and I had Game Boy. I never got Super Nintendo. The next thing I ended up with was a PlayStation after those other. But I
Yeah.
had earlier games like I had the Atari. I had that game that was the black little TV with the handle that connected to the front where you could put the screens in front of it.
Oh, the Commodore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have two of those still in our possession.
Oh, it's
So
so cool.
I've had a lot of games through my life, but I went through a time period where I just was not into video games, and I never went from Nintendo and Fit Sega to Super Nintendo and on. I never had an Xbox. Oh wait, I do have an Xbox that we don't even know if it works because when I bought a house, there was a backpack with an Xbox in it and a bunch of games inside a basket, and I have no clue. I've never hooked any of it up. And when we sold the house, I took that backpack with me, so I still have it.
Oh, that's so cool. Um, there's the two arcade games that was like the most fun when we were younger. I think was the Simpsons one and then the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one because you could play like four at a time, and most you could only
Well,
play
there was
two.
two Ninja Turtle ones. There was the original, and then there was Turtles in Time,
I think I only remember Turtles in Time. I don't know if I remember the other one.
where April's kidnapped right at the beginning. Your first fight is with Rocksteady.
Maybe I do. I was a little younger when that came out, so I don't
I,
think.
there was the Nintendo version of that game as well, so you could get that. They're all sitting right over there. There was a Nintendo version of that game. So you sound like me. I got to a few signed items from voice actors. Oh, it's Dragon Ball, huh?
Heck
So
yeah.
I don't know who Kid Goku is. I know who adult Goku's. I know a few adult Goku's. Kirby Maru, Sean Shamil. Kirby Maru's passed away. So sad. But okay.
I got the Royal Saiyan crest from Dragon Ball Z.
See, I got Master Roshi and the Turtles on here.
The Turtle Way.
No, I lost my place by reading that comment.
We think we're
Oh,
talking
video
about
games.
video
That's
games.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about video games. So yeah, they did a Nintendo version of the original game as well, the arcade game. And then Arcade Up, One Up, did the versions of it that you can have at home. In fact, both of those are sitting in another room still in their boxes. So I have the original Ninja Turtle arcade and Turtles in Time sitting next to each other, still in box. So
So cool.
I don't have an area to send them up here. I don't want to hurt them because at the time when I got them, I thought I was moving out to California. But after the fires, I don't think we will because prices of trying to get a place has gone skyrocket. It was already expensive. Now it's worse. So, and I'm sorry to anyone who lost anyone or anything during those fires. And I'm devastated. We lost a lot out in California this year. And I know that.
Yeah. A lot of times. VeVe Gold saying Cowabunga. Yes, absolutely. You only sent 3 turtles though, VeVe Gold.
Well, yeah, who's missing?
One of them might have.
Cowabunga!
Hell yeah.
Nintendo and Sega was super fun for me when I was young. I played Mario, I played Duck Hunt, but then with Sega, they did the most amazing thing with cable stations. And I don't hear too many people talk about this, but I was one of the lucky kids who had the Sega channel. I had the Sega channel. I got to play Zombies Ate My Neighbors monthly on the Sega channel. And of course, Earthworm Jim. He's such a groovy guy. Earthworm Jim. This who came from the sky. Yes, I played those games on the Sega channel. I didn't own them. I had them on the Sega channel. Now I'm so sad they don't. It doesn't
I can
exist
tell.
anymore. Now I
There we
play
go,
Nintendo
VeVe.
Switch. Yay! Now we got 4 turtles.
I guess Stephanie is the voice actor for OG Kid Goku and Little Goku from Daima.
Stephanie Shea that you're talking about?
Feel like it probably was. Oh, speaking of voice actors, how did you get Veronica Taylor to follow you on Instagram?
Veronica and I have been friends since 2005. She's April O'Neil from the 2003 Turtle series. So
Oh,
I in 2003 I met Wayne Grayson, Michael Sintra-Nicholas, Mike Pollock, and Mark Thompson, who were all voice actors on the 2003 series, and they were coming to Anime Next. And then 2004, actually 2004 was Veronica's first con because so I met her in 2004, not 2005, because she was there and Michael missed out on 2004. And then we saw after that, I just have seen her so many times for years. I watched her daughter grow up through the convention circuit because she'd always bring her little girl and I'd help them during panels. Like we were sitting there and they didn't have a moderator up there, which they do that to voice actors a lot. They're like, oh, you got a panel. And you walk into the panel and the voice actors are sitting up there with no moderator. Like, guess this is just a Q&A panel. Anyone got questions? Anyone got questions? And one time Veronica in Canada was going through that where it was just her up there and her daughter, and people were asking questions. And this is when I came up with the rule that if someone doesn't ask a question within 15, 20 seconds of them saying next question, I will raise my hand and I will use something I know about them that would be a story that would spark other questions. So I will ask a question to help get liven the room up. And it worked. And Veronica came up to me at the end of the panel and was like, "Thank you so much. You made it so that was not a quiet panel. We had so much fun." I watched another voice actor. I'm not going to name who because when I'm talking where it's like, do a Q&A panel. And the way he did it was question, yes. Next question, no. Next question, yes. Next question, yes. Within 10, 15 minutes of an hour-long panel, nobody had questions. He was just doing yes, no's, yes, no's, yes, no's. And I even turned off my video camera because the panel was crickets. And he was like, come on, somebody else ask a question. Somebody else, like trying to do a rapid fire at the beginning of the panel. You don't do that. Somebody gets up to leave and he starts picking on them. And I'm like, if I try to leave, I'll never hear the end of it because he knows me. I'm stuck.
no.
I'm stuck. I can't leave. There's nothing happening in this panel. I'm sure there's something else better somewhere else in the con. I haven't gone to one of his panels since. Thankfully, he's not part of the turtle realm. He's part of one of my other fandoms. But I do talk to him if I see him or if he's doing a panel with other voice actors, I'll go. But I won't do a solo panel with him again. Not after that. Voice actors are awesome. Have you met Veronica yet since you're a Pokemon fan?
So I was gonna ask you this.
Oh.
I have not.
Okay.
No, I have not. But there's a yeah, at New York Comic Con. I don't know who asked her to do it. I don't know, like, but she did it. It's like, hey, can you say like release the Epstein files like in Ash's voice? And she's like, release the Epstein files, and I was like, no freaking way, she did it. So you said like you met her a couple times and she follows you, so obviously some level of friendship there. What do you need from like what Ninja Turtles thing do you want me to get you so that you could be like, hey, this guy's like kind of cool. Do you think you could go on his podcast? I will get you whatever it is. What do you need or may someday want or need? And it is
I'm
yours.
sorry. If I say yes to helping anyone with that kind of stuff, then I get a list of people wanting that same type of help. So I can't exactly say I can
I,
guarantee getting
I
like I haven't
understand
even got her
100%.
interviewed on Cowabunga Corner yet.
So I understand publicly you got to, because if you say yes, you got to say yes to everyone. So you got to publicly tell me no, tell me to heck right off. And then privately you'll be like, okay, you got to get that right. Because I can do it. I'll do it. I'll do whatever. I don't care. I will. What do you want me to like thank somebody with my like I'll get it. I'll get it done.
I've been lucky enough to be able to meet a lot of these people, but I always try to tell fellow fans and people, if you want to meet them, it's going to the right events, it's doing the footwork.
Yeah,
I know she's been near Ohio before. I don't know where in Ohio you are, but one of the last time,
Columbus.
not the last time I saw her was in Motor City Comic Con, which is near Northern Ohio. But I've also met up with her at Lexington Comic Con, which is near Southern Ohio. So no matter where you are, she's been in the area. Do you follow her on Instagram to know where her events are?
I follow her on Insta. Where's the? But I don't really like. I don't really go on there all that often. But yeah, I do follow her on there, so I guess I could
Okay,
see where she's at
I'll
next.
teach you one of my tricks for finding conventions.
Okay.
Search up the word anime cons, and I think it's animecons.org,
Okay.
but it could be .net. But there's an anime con website, and if you go there, they have this very, very, very cool feature there to find out about conventions. You search by guest. Go to the first name V because there's not that many Veronicas. Find her name, click on it, and it will list all of her past conventions and all of her future conventions that she has publicly announced and where they're located and the links to the websites of those conventions so you can find out all the cost and everything in advance. If you actually want to meet her, I highly recommend it. She is a very, very epic person to get to talk to. And I recommend doing that instead of trying to go through other bloggers because a lot of us, you do the footwork, you
Yeah,
understand.
I get it.
So
I I will do my best. I'll get that bread. I'll make her an offer she can't refuse. I don't know what the offer would be. Be like, hey, I'll find out whatever she wants, and I'll be like, okay, I can get it done. I feel like that part in a video game where it's like, okay, yeah, get this thing for me. Okay, I have to go. Oh, okay, I'll give that to you, but you have to get this thing for me. I will do it. I will do that legwork.
isn't that like Final Fantasy games?
Yeah, they do that in a lot of video games. I think Legacy of Goku 2, they did that in as well. Yeah, they do it in a bunch. Um, but this was great. Is there anything that I mean, Total Final could go forever, but anything that I haven't covered that you want to go over with, or anything you want to plug in before we talk off camera for a bit?
Well, I will say again, if anyone really wants to jump in on board on what I'm on, I wrote the foreword for this. I wrote the about author that's on the back. That's my dad. It's on Amazon right now. It's foam sculpting by Dave Ivey, or what's that hidden in your couch cushions. And he teaches how to make some of his foam props. Like this is a turtle com that he made back in the 90s that we used during the birthday parties. And it would open up. The bottom's broken off now, but again, this was made back in 1990. And we had a button here that would make it beep so it sounds like the turtle com would be ringing and it has the antenna. But he teaches how to make foam props like this. And it's throughout the entire book. The book is only $20 and it is my first publication. So if anyone meets me at events and have this, I will sign it for free. But that's mainly what I'm plugging right now is my dad's book. Um, anyone wants to follow me, the place I'm most active is Instagram. That's where you can actually message me, and if I got time, I will shoot replies. And it's also where I try to do at least one post a day. I can't always do it, but I do try to get in there and say, oh, here's a picture of a turtle toy looking like it's life size. Like you'll see pictures of these guys to where they're forced perspective, like they're the ones on the camera instead of me. So and these are how small most of the toys I do that with, but I do have the giant NECAs as well. But it's usually these guys because they're easier to travel with. Um, that's the kind of stuff I goof off with that. I show pictures from my past. I've done everything from getting backstage at the Turtle concerts on the set of The Next Mutation. I've been friends with Eastman and Laird, so I've always got fun turtle stories to share. And the main thing is, I am open to the entire fandom. I'm a fan of every version of Ninja Turtles, even at the bottom of the list. I could still hold a conversation about it. The Michael Bay first of his movies is but I can keep up with most areas of Ninja Turtles, and I enjoy talking turtles with fellow fans. And I do read every comment. I try to heart every comment. I don't always reply unless it's a question. So anyone wants to talk, I'm always up for it. Oh, well, when I'm around.
Thank you so much. I'll let you know about the VeVe stuff. Thank you everyone for joining, and everyone say bye bye to Dashi. Bye bye Dashi. We love you. And we